ora koutou katoa nau mai, hara mai ki te Hākinakina, your sports show, right here on your Tribal Pulse, Te Korimako o Taranaki, 94.8 FM and 98.4 FM. Well, he's a well-known figure in the community. Many will know him from his years with Whanganui Rugby, his work in education, his involvement with kapa haka, and the positive influence he continues to have on our rangatahi. On the show, we'll hear more about where it all started, the highs and the lows on his journey, and what continues to inspire him. No mai hara mai Vaan Rauhina. Welcome to the show, my bro.
Tēnā koe, brother. Kia ora.
Been really excited about catching up, bro. It's been many years since we caught up, so looking forward to our kōrero. But hey, just as we get started, bro, ko wai koe, no he koe, just a little bit about yourself and where you're from.
Tēnā tātou. Tēnā koe kei taku rangatira. Tuatahi ake e tikana kia whakaaro nui ake. Ki tō tātou rangatira, ki tō tātou nei māreikura, ko Rauru Broughton tēnā, I te rā nei, kua hinga tērā o ngā rangatira, no reire whakaaro nui ana ki aia, ki ngā mate tū tini kei runga I ngā marae maha, o Taranaki whānui, tai rawa mai ki te awa tupu o Whanganui, tēnei anō rā te whakamānau atu ki ngā mate katoa, koutou kia koutou, I ngā mate haere o ki atu rā. Kia hoki mai kia tātou katoa, me te kaupapa kua pīkau, kua hua mai nei I tēnei pō, tēnei te mihi atu, ko Vaan Rauhina tōku ingoa, I tipu ake ai au, I te pā o rātana, I raro I ngā akoranga o tō tātou nei pāpā tahu pōtiki wirimu rātana. Ki reira anō taku whānau katoa, e tipu ake mai ana. Engari, no ngā puhi, no ngā te tūwhare toa, oku mātua, ki te taha o tōku pāpa, ko Tongariro te maunga, ko Taupo Nui Ātia te moana, ko Ngāti te kōhera te hapu, ko Ngāti Raukawa, ko Ngāti tūwhare toa, ngā iwi, ko Paka ki Taiari te tangata, ki te taha o tōku māma, ko Maunga Mimi te maunga, ko Pupuke te awa, ko Ngāti Hine te hapu, ko Ngāpuhi te iwi. Anō nei he morehu au no te pā o rātana. No reira, tēnā tātou katoa.
Kia ora, oosh, my bro, oosh. Good to know those connections there. Now, hey, let's start at the beginning. Tell us a little bit about your upbringing. Where did you grow up, and what are some of your earliest memories of sport and whānau?
Kia ora, my bro. Just remind me, man. Sometimes when I get talking, I go off on tangents and go all over the show. Just remind me to hoki mai ki te kaupapa. Kia ora, brother. So, grew up, born and bred in Rātana. As I mentioned, grew up there with all my whānau. There are three houses on a particular street in Rātana called Tairāwhiti, and it's probably the smallest street in Rātana. There are three whānaus there, my whānau, which is the Pikimaui whānau. Then also we have our Tāmau whānau that have strong connections to Ngā Rauru, to Taranaki, my bro. And then on the left side of us, of our whare, was the Irimana or the Edmonds whānau, and they were our cousins that also walked with the dad from the north. So kaikohe. So grew up in the pā. And then obviously for us as young'uns, the Rātana Maramatanga Sports Club was our local sports club in the pā. And at that time growing up, we had netball teams, I think hockey as well, and also rugby. And like I said, I suppose from an early age, had the old man and a number of uncles all playing for the Rātana Prem team. Well, actually, I think it was only a senior B team at that time. I don't think they were good enough for Prems. But, that was our everything, going to trainings. And it was quite funny, actually, a couple of months ago, there was a couple of old videos shared of old Rātana games back in the late 80s, early 90s. And, funnily enough, I'm one of the little tackers running around in the changing room there, and I had a few of the boys that I played with all sort of putting messages on. Wow, mate, is this you there, Vaan? And it's like, wow, look at that, eh? So putting on a red, white, blue jersey was inevitable for you. So I mean, and that's what we sort of ever knew, my bro, growing up. And obviously in Rātana Pā, there's not much not much to do in those days other than throwing rugby balls around and ball rush and things like that. But yeah, we were, you know, sort of having to make time and do things that certainly you don't see these days. A lot of our kids, you know, with the old Generation X and the devices and things. But I mean, I still try and get out with my girls and just throw rugby balls around and just do those things we did as kids. Because explaining those things to your kids around, you know, we sit on phones and things like that. Well, what did you fellas do in your days? Well, yeah, you had rugby balls, games of league and rugby on the marae, hide and go seek, all these different things. So a number of different activities, but certainly our Ratana Marama Sports Club, something that we all aspired to, and also rugby.
Awesome. Now, you know, with the rugby, obviously with the Ratana Club, when did you kind of first become, you know, like quite serious about your rugby, like, and, you know, like realize that, hey, I want to have give this a good crack. And, you know, when you did start to really kind of chime into rugby union, who were some of those people that kind of shaped you on your journey?
Well, so yeah, kapa, my bro. We were still there's about 3 or 4 of us in my age group. We were still at school, where Ratana was actually struggling. And at that time, just about folded actually in the morning competition. We had a number of our key players, our top players who were getting paid at the time, and they went to town clubs, and that sort of crippled our club. I mean, obviously we only had what we had, and at that time we had Dwayne Kemp, Raymond Lee Mason, and there were a couple of others, I can't remember their names, but there were a couple of others, and they were actually getting paid playing in Whanganui for the town clubs. So for us, we were still at school and playing first 15, and then sort of having to get the call from the big uncles, you know, oh, look, you boys, you first 15 boys, you know, if you can come and give us a hand with our game after you've done. We're short, and yeah, we need, so well, for us, man, just to be asked to be put the jersey on was, you know, it was huge for us. At that time, my school, St. Augustine's, we were the top first 15 in Whanganui at that time. And so, I mean, for me, I was the captain of our team, and any chance to put a Ratana jersey on, I was in there. We were only about sort of 14, 15, you know, playing Premier Rugby. But for us, it was a lot slower than first 15. So you know, we just took that challenge on and did those sorts of things. For me personally, I had people like, I mean, my tuakanas, you'll know a couple of them too, bro. Tema, who was working on OFM, Tema Hemi, but then I've got Cornell Mason, Leon Mason, Raymond Lee Mason, Dwayne Kemp. These are some of the tuakanas that were there. I mean, obviously, when I finished school, my last year of school, I went, which was in 99. 2000, I went back to play for the PA, our premier team, and that was the 75th Jubilee of our club that same year. And then, yeah, the call or the kōrero had also been put out in the community that all these boys that were playing in the town clubs and that were in the rep team, they were all coming home to Ratana. So sort of weighing things up, I sort of realised that, cool, this is my last year this year, and when I go home next year, man, check, all the veterans should be all home, and, you know, we should have a stacked team. Donovan Napier, Cuzzy Donovan Napier, who's over in Sydney at the moment. He was another one who was playing for Cairo. He also come home, and so we ended up with a really strong team that year. And played Marist in the final. That was 2000, and that was the first final that our club had ever been to. And I mean, obviously out at Ratana Pa, we're all about music, which is a big part of our DNA as Morehu. We had uncles with big speakers and everything, and we went pretty much took the whole Pa to Spriggans Park that year. And I mean, they still talk about it now, and I don't think there's been finals or crowds like that since then. So it was a real, you know, sort of uplifter. Everyone knew in our community, all our old people who used to make our rewana bread and things like that, our after-match cakes and kai, you know, they were all really excited because everyone knew that, right, all of these all these rep boys who went to town to get paid. Nah, sorry, brothers, but who went to town to get paid to play the game. They were all coming home. And so all of those boys that stayed hard. We've got Charlie Metu, we've got Cornell Mason. They were the ones who actually stayed home, didn't leave home, and thankfully for them, had not been for them, we probably would have folded. And so during those 2-3 years that the boys had come into town, was a really challenging time for our club. And I mean, obviously we're playing first 15, and we were sort of glad that we could play some sort of part in contributing to try and keep the jersey going, because we knew 2-3 years down the track, well, you know, that was hopefully going to be us. And like I said, 2000, all the boys come home, and we played Marist in the final, and it was against Chris Marsoy. That's when he was right at the top. I mean, he was our Whanganui captain at that time, and then not long after that, he obviously carried on to Taranaki. And started playing up there, and obviously went on to be an All Black. So, I mean, seeing guys like him, Tix, Tikorotuma, there's another wing, Waisaki, Naholo, seeing the progress that those boys made. I mean, they were all in our club competitions, and seeing them carry on and really fly their wings. I mean, then later on you had Pirofita, Stephen, you know, so we had a number of boys that were doing really well here in Whanganui. And for us to beat Chris in them in the final was, the rest is history, my bro. But, you know, it was, you had people there that were definitely leading the way for my club, but then also in the opposition clubs. And, I mean, they were obviously the rep players. They were the benchmarks. So it was really about trying to, I mean, there was no way we was as big and as tall as Chris, but up here, you know, we sort of worked our minds and worked that Māori boy magic, and we used to get on top of them. But physically,
awesome. What a journey there with Ratana. Well, Wano, we're going to go to a quick break and be back shortly to talk to Vaan more about his representative days in the Whanganui jersey. Kia ora koutou whānau, welcome back to Te Ao Hākinakina. We're having an awesome kōrero here with Vaan Rauhina, calling in from Whanganui. Now, you also represented Whanganui. What was it like wearing the colours of Whanganui and doing their jersey proud while you had the chance?
Well, it's kia ora again, brother. I suppose, again, that sort of led on from club. We had a really strong club team. When I first started, our first 4 out of 3 years, we were in the finals, and we ended up doing a three-peat, 2001, 2002, 2003. And fortunately for myself, at that time was also the time that I made my debut for Whanganui in 2001. So I never made the development team that year. I was obviously, I was actually playing number eight for my club, and then got spoken to by the rep coaches and asked, "Oh, look, you know, have you played prop before?" I was like, "Yep, no, I have. I can play hooker too." So they were quite keen to see me have a few games with the development team at prop. So I ended up having, sort of 3 games, 2001 for the development team, and then I got thrusted into the Prem team, and it was sort of my first game debut, but also my first time on a plane. Little married boy out of Ratana Pa, we only got toy planes in Ratana, and be going to the airport, you know, and just sort of going through that whole process of, all right, this is how it is when you make the top team. You know, you get given all the gears, and you're away all weekend, and, you know, everything's paid for. It's just like, wow, as a young fellow, blowing away. But because, I had good role models in my Ratana team, and they were all in the rep team as well, bro. So we had nine from Ratana that were in the Whanganui team. So, I mean, you know, when you got a good team and you got good mentors and guidance around you, it's not hard, my bro, to shine. When you're playing with a group of shining stars, it's actually when you're just on your own and you're having to shine your own star. That's when you sort of, you sort of test yourself. But again, yeah, with those great players around me, it sort of enabled me to, it was only natural for me to want to follow them and aspire in their footsteps. And
Awesome.
playing club with these brothers, and then you make a rep team, and you're in Dunedin, you're in Christchurch, you're in different parts of the country. It can sort of seem like a sort of a lonely place, my bro, for a young fella like me, like far out. But having all the tuakanas in the team, it just usually when you make a rep team, you on the bus, there's the old status thing, because if you're a newbie, you go and sit up the front of the bus, and all the veterans sit down on the back. Well, because I had all my tuakanas in my Whanganui rep team, I didn't have to carry bags. I didn't have to do all of those jobs that the old debutants or the low numbers usually have to do. I was able to just sit back, and then all my tuakanas were like, "Nah, this fella's all right." And then I even got to go and sit up on the back seat. I was like, "Oh, no, I don't want to do that." And I was like, "Nah, come on, man, you're good." All the others were like, "Oh, hell no," come on, man, you got to do your time. But come
awesome,
up here,
man.
boy. I said to close my mouth and do as I'm told.
Go with it.
So had some really special times, and that allowed me to grow. And then in 2003, we beat King Country in the third division final. Come from out of nowhere, we were sort of fourth or fifth on the table. We managed to get a away semi-final down in Canterbury, South Canterbury, in Timaru. And then we had to go away to Te Kuiti for the third division final. We ended up beating them that year. And then obviously we never got another gold medal till I think it was 2011. And that was when Whanganui, we won the Meads Cup against East Coast on Cook's Gardens. And that was against, they had a few loan players in. Rua Tupuki, Ngāri Musimkins in them. They were all in sort of the Rotorua there, and they had quite a stacked team. But those are two sort of key, I suppose, moments in games that stand out for me. And winning a cup and winning, a gold medal with your club is something, but then being able to do it with your club and then for your province the same year, mate, those are real special moments. And I've when you mentioned about photos, bro, I'd sort of just been, looking through all mine and just like thinking, man, we need to get these up on the wall. It's not about, here's my photos, look at me. But these are key pieces of history for me. And when I look at them, man, you sort of find yourself sitting there for 5-10 minutes, just, reflecting on those times and the team and the people that were there. And, just awesome memories. And, caught it all to share with the kids.
100%.
Some cut me at the knees, brother.
That's awesome. Some good memories there. Now, obviously, every athlete faces challenges, and we want to have a bit of a kōrero soon. We're going to go to a quick break and be back shortly about some of those challenges you faced along the way.
Kapa, my mate.
Kia ora koutou whānau, welcome back. We're here with Vaan Rauhina having an awesome kōrero. We just heard about his journey with the Whanganui team. Now, as we mentioned before going to the break, every athlete faces challenges. Can you talk about the injury that kind of that changed your path and how difficult that period might have been for you? But looking back, what did it teach you about resilience and character and finding purpose beyond the rugby field?
Kia ora, my bro. So 2014, bro. 2015. I was still in the rep team 2014, and then 2015 February. I got a leg infection, my bro. I was, like I said, I was still, not as young as I was, I suppose, a few years earlier, but I was still, playing some good rugby and enough to be in the rep team. And then I got a leg infection. Early 2015, and that was also the same year that we were preparing to go down to Te Matatini Te Reanga Mōrehu. We were getting ready to go down to Te Matatini in Christchurch that year. And so, yeah, that was probably, yeah, obviously the toughest time of my life, my bro. I went in and out of hospital 3 or 4 times over 2 days. And there was just not enough done about what I'd actually had in terms of the infection. And obviously, because that time frame was sort of lapsed over a couple of days, well, things just went from bad to worse, within a couple of days. And so I was at home told to take paracetamol and things like that. 2-3 days later, I was in ICU. So that quickly escalated very quickly. ICU, and then they ended up having to put a PIC line in my arm so that the infection, that the antibiotic could get directly to where it needed to be a lot quicker than just putting it through a PIC line or a line that you have in your arm or your hand. Yeah, so they put it right up by your chest, near your heart, and that is to get the antibiotics there where it needs to be a lot quicker. So I was in the ICU for about 4.5 weeks, bro. And that's how long that they took to keep fighting this infection. And so it ended up having to be a 6-week period where I'm fighting an infection. And then the damage that the infection had done to my to the top of my ankle, it was right on the ankle bone, my bro. Taking out the skin, the bone, everything, and there was just like a big hole on top of my ankle. So once that had happened, they'd sort of realised that, well, yeah, this is it's a life or death situation. Like it could have started spreading, and had it gone past my hips, well, then yeah, I would have pretty much been done, my bro. So over that 6 weeks, trying to fight this infection and doing all that they can to get on top of it. Over that 6 weeks, it just ate at everything that it was sitting on. Eventually, when they did get over it, it just left a big hole, and all my cartilage and everything had all been destroyed and eaten, my bro. So from there, it was basically a sort of a 2-year period. We're just going to take things easy. We're going to try and get the wound right. I had to have about 5 or 6 different skin grafts just to get some skin over the wound. It was, a lot of people were asking me, so how long's it going to be before you're going to be back on the rugby field? I knew in my heart, my bro, I knew in my heart at that time, like, that's never going to happen. As much as you want to tell people and you want to believe it yourself, you just know the reality is, man, I'm going to be lucky to be able to walk or stand on my leg after all of those traumas, or after everything that's been done. It's not just a little scratch, my bro. It was a big hole, sort of like this, just on top of my ankle. And so, like I said, the infection had eaten everything, the bone, everything, and it was just like a hole had been eaten into my leg. And so at that time, I realised that, man, I had some tough conversations to myself, and even just speaking to my darling, to my partner, and she was like, so what do you think? And I'm sitting there crying, my bro, thinking, nah, that's it. I'm done. For me, it's about an actual matter of life now, not about when am I going to be able to put a rugby boot back on and get on a field again. This is actually about, it becomes bigger than me now, my bro. I learned that, for me, I ended up, it was about my kids now. It was about my family. It was about, putting them first. Now it's not about, when's Vaan going to get back on the rugby field? I became, I accepted that quite early. Even though I was telling people, we'll see. I knew in my heart and in my mind. And I mean, for me, my bro, I was brought up on the word of Jesus, my bro. And my parents, taught me about the Bible, taught me about truth, taught me about our lives, and how everything is told in the Bible, my bro. And whether we believe it, whether we want to or not, At the end of the day, this is the truth, my bro. And it was about that too, you know, asking yourself, well, again, boy, that's it. But it's still, the goal was, you know, to still be able to live life, still be able to teach. I still had a passion for teaching and things like that. And so I went through a 2-year period. Sorry, bro, I'm going on a bit, but I went through a 2-year period where I struggled. It was, like my leg. I ended up having to fuse the whole thing so that it couldn't move because, it was just too painful. Everything had gone. And then I had another 3 or 4 weeks fighting an infection again. My bro got infected again. And then that's when I decided to myself that at that time, I'm going to get my leg cut off because the 13th of November 2017, my second baby was born. And then it was 2 weeks after that, my bro, that I decided I'm getting my leg cut off. For the first 2 weeks of my baby's life, I was down at Wellington Hospital. I saw her be born. I was at the hospital, so I was so wrapped about that. But then it was back to like square one, like, right, okay, what about you now, B? And oh man, my legs like giving me hassles. And then I ended up having to go to Wellington. And then 2 weeks after my baby was born was a decision that I made. I'm not going to sit in this hospital anymore. I'm not going to, my babies had to come from up here down to Wellington. And the first 2 weeks of my newborn's life, she was in and out of hospital, my bro, coming to see me and it was a struggle. And felt for my darling. She had lucky we had an older daughter, so she was able to help out. But for me, it was about, you've got your kids here, you've got life to live. I didn't want them to be going in and out of hospital following me. I could be here for 2 weeks, I could be here for 2 years, who knows? But at the end of the day, I've told the doctor, let's get this leg cut off, bro, so I can take my family home and we can start to try and build on life. My big girl was like, are you for real, Dad? Like, I said, yeah, my darling. Again, I had a lot of time, my bro, to think about this and to reflect and know that the only decision has got to be the best decision, and that's based on what's good for my kids. I'm never going to be able to play rugby again, but hey, I still have life. I can still teach. I can still be there and follow my kids. And because I didn't quite get the opportunity to I suppose, to achieve or succeed to the best that I might have been able to, I've just been able to help my big girl now, my bro. She's playing a bit of rugby. And so to be able to share, when she's keen, she's always asking questions, which is really, that's rewarding for me. I didn't get there, but to be able to share with your baby and the hope that she may be able to crack that black jersey one day is something that really excites me, bro. And I try to just keep my head and grind for my babies. Sometimes things are difficult and sore, my brother. And my babies sort of know when that's happening. Oh, you're all right, Dad. And I'm like, I'm all good, sweet as. But there are some challenging times, bro. But, at the end of the day, it's, that bigger picture. You understand that, just to have life and just to be here with my kids is an absolute blessing, my bro. So there are times when we think, oh, man, I'm having a bad day. And I'll be the first to say, oh, do you want me to give you something to cry about? No. Do you want me to give you something to, but it's just something that we're sort of growing as a family, bro. And again, I'm not always perfect, my bro, and I don't always get it right. And sometimes the old league can frustrate me, but I've sort of done well for the last 5 to 6 years. And to be able to watch my big girl play rugby, that's something that really warms the heart, and especially when you're able to sit there and share kōrero and give advice, and there's certainly no want for me to pressure her into things, to squeeze her into things, especially rugby. That's what a lot of the boys say to you, old man, he just probably squeezes that rugby. But I know, as a teacher these days, man, you can't do that with kids. There's a time and a place when they're ready to learn. They'll learn and they'll take on board what they need to. And so we got to be able to adjust. We got to be able to, make those adjustments, not just think that, this is how we were taught old school, it's going to work today, because it certainly doesn't. So we got to change that approach, my bro. And I've sort of found that when my girl's keen, sweet, Dad will have a kōrero. When she's not keen, I'll walk up, we'll leave it
Yes.
there. But
Wow,
yeah.
What a journey through, you know, your time at Rātana, time in the Whanganui jersey, you know, with your injury and the changes you had to make there, you know, the courage you had to take to, you know, do what you did, you know, for the betterment of your whānau. But also just want to make mention also of the awesome mahi that you've done at Kalanane, also at Te Kura Kaupapa Māori or Tūpoho, Te Ngākau o Te Awa, you know, your mahi and kapa haka and supporting your tamariki, your daughter with her footy in that. You're an absolute inspiration, bro, with all that you've been through. So just on behalf of us all here in Taranaki and Whanganui and around the Mutu, thank you for sharing your story with us. Your story is a story of inspiration and courage and resilience. And yeah, you're an amazing man doing amazing things and keep doing what you're doing out there in the community with our rangatahi as well, bro. Thank you for coming on the show.
Kia ora, my bro, and it's been an absolute pleasure to see and catch up with you again, my bro. Yeah. Messaging by Facebook, oh man, it makes me feel rude, but to see you face to face, my brother, beautiful. And next time I'm up your way, man, I'm gonna message you and I'm gonna call in and make sure to get in and have a hongi and a coffee with you, my bro. Thank you very much.
100%.
Beautiful, my brother. Thank you. Ngā mihi nui.
Kia ora.
Tēnā koe, bro.